welcome to the Voice of the Coast. I am your host, Danique. Along with me, we have Executive Director with Port of Morgan City, that is Mac Wade. Y'all know it's going to be a fun show because we get to talk about dredging and water. Yes, I'm going to tell you something. I have learned so much about dredging that I think I'm pretty much an expert, and you're going to hear all about my expertise throughout this interview. But let's talk dredging with Bryce. Bryce is kind of like our favorite child, right?
Bryce has been a godsend for us, Danica. Bryce has been out there for over 2 years. They went out in December of 19. And this was a trial, never been done before, but they have performed. We get the dredging readings every day. They're moving over 5 to 6 million yards of material on a monthly basis. They're moving at a tremendously reduced cost to the American taxpayers. When we'd send a cutter head down there years ago, we were paying $3 to $4 a yard. Bryce is doing it for about 20, 25 cents a yard. Big difference, big difference.
And also a big difference in the type of dredging that we were using. You said cutter head, then you have the agitator, you have all these, but they're using a specialized machine.
They're using a specialized, basically it's like a hopper dredge without the hopper. It is a one-of-a-kind dredge that's never been used before. As far as agitation, it's been used for years, but theirs is a specialty built that is designed just to work the Morgan City Bar Channel. You can't work it on the Mississippi. It doesn't have the capacity to go down to 50 foot, but we can go down to about 28 foot. But they're doing a good job. In fact, they're doing such a good job. We had $21.8 million in this project we started with. Back in July, the Corps went ahead and put another $14 million in it and got them basically through 2023.
Come on,
funded.
cha-ching,
So that's
cha-ching.
good.
I'm loving it. And
Yes.
you know, to be honest with you, I wouldn't say there was a lot of doubt, maybe just a little bit. They're an Alaskan company. They're an Alaskan company. So I was like, what do they know about Louisiana waters? I mean, that's what I think a lot of people, I mean, even some of your board members were a little skeptical. I mean, Alaska, Louisiana, you know, we have fluff.
What do they know about that?
What do they know about that? But they have come in and pretty much they have been working. You said 2019, so of course we went through a pandemic. They never stopped working, and that is important to all of us as taxpayers.
Danica, they have employees here. They have an office here. They have about 7 or 8 employees. They buy fuel. I don't want to say how much fuel, but they use several thousand gallons of diesel every day on running that machine. They buy locally. They buy groceries here locally. All the repairs are made here at our local shipyards. Tremendous economic benefit what Bryce has done.
Still trying to get their CEO to even get a house here.
That's right.
I reached out to some of my realtor friends and say, hey, look, I got a house. We need them to stay here and have a second home here. But you mentioned the monies, but it's really, we have about $48 million that's been allotted to all the dredging. First and foremost, am I right? We have never had about 4 dredges going at one time. We've only typically had like maybe 1 or 2.
At the most.
Yes.
At the most. Danica, we currently have 2 dredges running this very minute. We will have another one operating about 2 to 3 weeks, and we're going out for a bid on another dredge. So we could be back up to 4. The Captain Frank right now is only about 3 miles from where we sit. It's up at Stouts Pass. It's under contract. Manson has a dredge coming in. We have the Bryce dredge working in the Bar Channel. But like you said, normally if we had $10 to $15 million in dredging, we spent $40 million last year. We're going to spend over $48 million this year dredging.
Let's get to, because I know we're mentioning just the name of these dredges, but let's talk about areas. Bayou Chene. Bayou Chene is going to be dredged. Bayou Chene has been dredged in what?
Since probably about 2010, 12? It's been at least 12 to 13 years.
It's about time.
Yeah, yes, it is.
And you know I'm all about the cha-ching. So when you dredge that, that is going to be bringing in more commerce, right, on the water?
Yes, yes. A tremendous amount of the fabrication business is out in Amelia. That's for Bayou Chene. The locks are at 13 foot. Bayou Chene is, you know, it's authorized. That's a federal authorized channel, Bayou Chene. So for the first time since 2009, 2010, it is going to be dredged. That's a $24.4 million contract that's being let right now. We're going to get 250 foot wide to 20 foot. We are asking for more funding. We don't know if we're going to get more funding, but we are chasing more money in Washington. Senator Kennedy was down just recently. Garrett Graves was in town. So we're asking for additional funding because we'd like to go get it back to its original dimensions, 400 foot.
Kennedy's coming back. He's coming back for the Chamber of Commerce luncheon. So I'm just putting that out there.
He's good.
So make sure you're going to be there
Yes.
and ask that question publicly.
Yes.
They always have
Yes.
Q&A. Ask it publicly, okay? All right, come on back. We've got much more to cover. And I'm telling you, there's one particular dredge project you definitely want to hear about. So come on back right here on The Voice of the Coast. Welcome back to The Voice of the Coast. Let's get right to it because you know we can talk. So let's get back on a little bit on Bayou Chene before we get to the controversial one, right? So Bayou Chene, we just opened it up. The floodgate is there. The permanent structure, we've been waiting on this for years. It's there. And now, in order to get business to come through, you definitely got to have that authorized depth.
Yep.
And you mentioned 250, but 400 is typically the authorization.
Yes.
But 20, I think it's the depth. We
The depth.
need the depth. So we're getting that after 12 years.
Yes, yeah. Danica, that's exactly right. Bayou Chene is part of the channel. We're authorized 400 foot wide, 20 foot deep. You're authorized. Money dictates what you can get. You may not have enough money to go 400 foot. I'll sacrifice our width so I can get the depth.
Yeah.
Depth, at least it'll stay longer
Yes.
before we have to do something. But we're asking, it's $24.4 million. The contract was just let. We are hoping to, and that's going to go on for about 8 to 9 months. They'll be dredging down there. It's a big contract. We're hoping for, we're still asking for more money. We don't know, but there are a couple other maybe pools of money that may be up in Washington that we can get our hands on. We're going 250 foot wide, 20 foot deep. If we can get additional funding, I will be able to put it on that contract. Maybe I can get enough to get 300, maybe 350, whatever, but I'm getting my 20 foot
And
deep.
like I'm gonna say, I think that's, and tell me if I'm wrong. I mean, we have the arms, so
Yeah.
that's not 400 feet wide anyway. So they're gonna take their time and go one at a time.
Yeah,
one at
yeah,
a time. You'll be
yes,
fine.
yes, yes.
But I definitely want to get to this next one.
Yes.
Stouts Pass.
Stouts Pass,
Kind of give
yes.
us just for folks who are like, where is this? Kind of about where? Where is Stouts Pass?
Stouts Pass is in the MRT. That's the Mississippi River tributary. Stouts Pass is Berwick Harbor right out here behind us.
Yeah.
Stouts Pass is about 3 miles up the river. Stouts Pass has been part of the Chafalaya. It is a Chafalaya River that's been flowing through there for hundreds and hundreds of years. Stouts Pass, though, has been our waterway and our transit up to Chafalaya, so we could go all the way up to Chafalaya River. We could go all the way up to Old River, that's where the Red River comes in, and you join the Mississippi. Very important body of water. That waterway right now, we have the dredge Captain Frank Weeks Marine is up there. It moved in last Saturday morning. It came in, and it's up there dredging. It's a cutter head. To tell you how bad a problem we've had, we've been using, y'all have heard me mention the dredge Jadwin, a core dredge. It's a dustpan. They had to bring the cutter head in. That's how hard packed this material is. So they're in there right now. They'll probably be in there for another week. The problem is the pipelines that are up there, and there are restrictions. The MSIB bulletins have been put out by the Coast Guard. 120, that channel is 125 by 13 foot deep. That's federally authorized channel. We're running right now 55 foot wide by 10 foot deep.
Now that's a shame. First and foremost, you got pools about 10 feet deep, and you expect a barge or a tow to go through there. I think even 13 feet is too shallow.
And Danica, a barge or tow can go through there as long as it's a single tow. 6-packs cannot make it. When I say a 6-pack, that's 2 barges side by side. A barge is 35 foot wide. You put 2 of them together, that's 70 foot.
Yeah.
So now if you want to go through there, you have to break those off, which takes time and money.
So we kind of talked a little bit about this because I'm like, there's always an alternate route, right? I mean, look at
Yes.
Horseshoe Bend and Crew Boat Cut.
That's right.
And this is when I first moved down here. So Horseshoe Bend, you close it off because it was constantly filling up,
Filling up,
right?
that's right.
So you open up
Crew boat.
Crew Boat Cut because it's self-scouring, right? It
Yes.
scours on its own. You have the rock jetties out there. It's working pretty good. Oh man, we're going to a commercial. So the question that I'm going to ask is, why don't we do the same thing there? Because there's Stouts Pass, but then right adjacent to that is Little Island.
Yes.
We're going to talk a little bit more about the pipelines too, and about who's responsible for moving these pipelines, who's going to do all the work for this, and how much that price tag is. Y'all come on back right here on the Voice of the Coast with yours truly.
Is part of it.
Okay, welcome back to the Voice of the Coast. Let's get right back to it because I'm trying to make sense of this. Okay, so we have Stouts Pass and Stouts Pass, and then there's Little Island, right? So Stouts Pass kind of, if I can't do I need a little board or something to show you this, but it's kind of a curve, and then you have
Yes.
Little Island that's more flat or
Yes.
straight. Let's take Crew Boat Cut, and look, you just kind of have to follow us. So Horseshoe Bend, they closed that off because it was filling up. Remember,
Yep.
we got sand, fluff, we got all this stuff that we're trying to weave through. But the Corps, as well as you guys, all work together to open up Crew Boat Cut. You put out the rock jetties and all, right?
Yes.
So this is moving on its own. It's self-scouring. To me, it's a no-brainer. Close off Stouts Pass. Maybe, or close it off because you said that there's hard sand, right, in that area.
Hard packed sand, yes.
But then you have Little Island, which is, flowing very well. However, there's a small, big problem. There's pipelines that are running, 13 feet under?
13, they're dangling 13 foot under the water level.
And the authorized depth
Is 13 foot,
13.
but the pipes are at 13.
Yeah.
You got to
So-
have them way lower than that.
Yes.
Then it boils down. Little Island is where the river's wanting to go.
Mm-hmm.
The river was going through Stouts Pass for years. When it changed up years back, Stouts started filling in. Stouts used to be self-scouring. No, that's way in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Now the sand's building up there in Little Island. Right next to it is where the river's going. It's 26 foot of water in there, very wide.
Yes.
26 foot, but those pipelines are at 13 foot.
And to me, it's a no-brainer. And let me tell you something. These pipeline companies make lots of money. And what is the price tag on moving these pipelines? Because I know right now it's probably, no, it's not my fault, it's your fault. Well, the river was there all along.
That's
It's
right,
been there forever. So you put your pipelines in a place that is not beneficial to us moving money. So personally, I kind of think that the pipelines. But let's get the Army Corps of Engineers in here. Like, what does this cost to move these pipelines down?
The Corps estimates $5 million a pipeline. There's 5 of them.
$25 million.
$25 million.
That's a lot of money to me. But the Corps, they drop money, on a dredge. What is it, like $5 million? And then you have to come back at least twice a year.
Yeah,
That's $10 million. So you've got that 2 times, let's say 2 times a year. That's at least the next year. So 2 years, you're at $20 million already. Why not just fix
And
the
Nikki, you
issue?
don't still, even doing that, coming back twice a year, you're not keeping it open. It's still going to
Right.
fill in between.
Well, you're
So
wasting money.
So it is.
You're wasting my money. I don't like to waste my money or my time.
I think the Corps is looking at it, as much as we're spending and we're still not keeping it
Yes.
authorized, go ahead and bite the bullet, but
Mm-hmm.
you got to find the bullet. You got to get Washington to deliver that money. So, but it needs to be done. Little Island's 26 foot deep. These pipelines got to be buried way deeper than that
Yes.
so you don't have a problem. But that's the way the river has decided to go on us, and you got to go with it.
And again, to me, it's no-brainer. You're talking about pipelines. You're talking about potential explosions
Yes.
that can happen.
Hop-
In addition, you're affecting the economy. Let's not reinvent the wheel
That's
here,
it.
people.
That's
Let's just
it.
do this. You want a
That's
copy
it.
of this tape? Take this tape and bring
Yep.
it to Washington. Let me talk for you. Let
Danica,
us talk for
on
you.
those restrictions at Stouts Pass right now, these hopper barges you see going up and down the river all the time, they're drawing 12 foot of water. That's what the JIWW is, 12 foot. They're going on Stouts Pass, you can only draw 10 foot. That's about 20%. you're losing on every cargo, every barge you push up there. So that means a lot of money. And you start pushing a 6-pack, that's 6 barges, and you got several of those coming through a day. You're talking a lot of money to the economy, to the company's bottom line.
Not only that, this waterway, I mean, you're coming from Texas to us, and then going on to New Orleans and further on. I mean, I don't want to be the part that bottlenecks. I mean, we deserve a piece of the pie.
That's it.
Let's move on, because I think at this point you kind of get it. You understand where we are right now. But we're gonna save a little bit and come back and talk a little bit more. Maybe we'll talk more about what's going on at the port. Let's see, because I remember there were some monies that was supposed to be matched, and we're doing a whole dock renovation. So come on back right here on the Voice of the Coast with yours truly. Welcome back. Look, let's get right to it. Everybody know who I'm talking to, because we don't have much time. Okay, so there's renovations going on at the dock, the port.
Yes.
I remember the state granted about $20 million to this project. There's the east and the west dock improvements. Right now, you're starting on the east dock.
The east dock has gone through, and we've been engineering, design, everything's done on the east dock. The plans have been sent to DOTD, who's funding our project for us. Those plans, I think, our board meeting is this coming Monday night, and we hope to have the plans submitted back from DOTD, where our engineers will make a recommendation. We go out for bid. If that's the case, the board will vote on that, and we could be out for bid within the next 10 to 15 days.
So this is an expansion project, right?
Yes,
What are some of the other features?
What we're doing on our concrete, on our dock, we're closing in the entire dock on our original dock. So it gives us more laydown area. People say, well, what do we need laydown area? Well, docks need lots of space to, when the boats come in, you got room to put containers or whatever we need. So that's being done. Danica, that's a $5 million project we got from DOTD. They're funding it for us. They provide 90% of the construction costs. Port provides engineering. Besides that project, I mentioned we're going out on the fifth. That's a $5 million. Got a total of 20. $15 million is going to be spent on the west dock. I'm sorry, the west dock. That will be. We bought 2 pieces of land joining the property right there. So we're going from about 800 foot of waterfront when we get finished with the west dock and our current dock. We'll have a little over 1,900 foot of waterfront.
Okay.
Tremendous
no
amount.
Flooding?
No flooding.
Okay.
No, our dock, and let me say, I'm not going to say no flooding, because we flooded in 2011, and we flooded in 2019 for Hurricane Barry. And say Barry, because of the storm surge.
Yep.
We have the highest dock in Morgan City. We are at 10 foot above sea level. If we flood, everybody's got a problem. We are at 10 foot. We had 6 inches of water go over the dock in 2019, 6 inches.
Yeah.
And it didn't stay there long. It came in because of the storm surge. We had a river at 7.5, so 3 foot of storm surge put us at 10.5. Within 2 to 3 hours, when the seas receded, water went right back out. But our new docks will all be at 10 foot above sea level.
Okay, it wouldn't be an interview if I didn't talk about Foley Island.
Okay, earlier when we mentioned about the dredge, the $14 million for Manson going down the river, that's going to be at Crew Boat Cut. We will be doing Foley Island from Crew Boat to Eugene Island if we have disposal. Thank goodness, Danica, our river's held up fairly well. We did not have a high water this year like we've had in the past.
And we got to talk a little bit about what Foley Island is. We got to always give.
Yes.
This is a new island that was created right after
2 years ago.
Yes. And it actually has vegetation. It's life. It's a kind of a barrier. Is it a barrier island?
It's all tied. It's all tied into the bank down there in the St. Mary Parish.
Creation.
Yes.
It created land and
beneficial use.
That's right. St. Mary Parish is really the only area or parish that is creating land. Our areas around us, they're losing land.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to throw that in because
yes, it
Foley
is.
Island.
Yes.
But hurricane. We're in hurricane season. Let's do hurricane prep real quick.
Real quick on hurricanes. Last year at this time, we already had 10 to 12 named storms. We haven't had anything hardly this year. Do not let your guard down. The hurricane peak season is August 15th to September 15th. We haven't still had anything. But that doesn't mean something can't happen. And it only takes one bad one to come through
And
this
who
area.
cares about September 15th? It goes on to November
Well,
30th.
exactly. But we have not had anything.
Yeah.
So please do not take your guard down and say, well, we're out of the woods. No, we're not yet. Because like you say, it goes to November.
Right, and we haven't had any high water. I mean,
No,
even in the springtime,
no,
it's
no.
usually typically twice a year.
Been very, very fortunate, knock on wood. I'll take it.
Yeah. Okay, we're doing pretty good. And wow, I think I got everything. That's amazing. That never happened.
Yeah.
That never happened. I think it's just talking really quickly. But
Yep.
I'm going to take this opportunity to ask you guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to us on Facebook. We are KWBJTV22. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube because we will have this show available on YouTube. We are KWBJ Live there. See you guys next time, and thank you.
Thank you, Nick, for having me.